The Foolkiller attracted a lot of people, and for different reasons. It was a very diverse group. I don't believe there was anything in the United States, perhaps in the world, that has been as diverse and as tight-knit for such a length of time as that organization has been.
We didn't go out to produce proletarian music, theater, culture. We went out to produce people who could produce their own culture out of their own experiences. That was the big difference between us and virtually every other group.
I think that those were probably the 5 most extraordinary years of my life. And I met and made so many wonderful friends who are still, great friends today. And I think a lot of the things that I've done after those 5 years are probably due to the confidence that I gained being there and being involved in that organization.
Welcome to It's Your Turn, the only program of its kind in the Kansas City area. It's Your Turn provides organizations the opportunity to present their objectives in programs of their own devising. It's Your Turn is presented by Channel 19, but is produced by the groups involved. KCPT provides no more than advisory assistance in these productions. And now, the Foolkiller, It's Your Turn.
These people, particularly St. Clair and people that came through the Folk University Muir, they were revolutionaries. And I like culture, but culture alone cannot make a revolution.
Well, Scoop, today, as I mentioned, what I'm doing this trip is to find out about the Foolkiller and Folk University. Before Nancy and I got there, we got there in 71. And I'm particularly interested in how Folk University came into being and what your involvement was, what other people's involvement was. So just kind of start out and tell your story about how you
Okay,
found out about
the
it.
very earliest.
In the early, we started out and we divided up the task in councils. Not unlike Cuba. There was no leader. There was only a general secretary.
There was a theory council, and there was a music council, and a theater council, and I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 others.
I don't want to sound immodest, but I think you and I, speaking to George the filmmaker here, were sort of the odd man out in that we could relate both to theory council and we could relate to the music and the other creative things.
But Verl kept trying to get the musicians interested in theory. I mean, he wanted all these banjo players to read Hegel and so on, and they weren't going to read Hegel. And it was as if there was a kind of a guarded coexistence going on.
Yeah, but I think, there were some strong women in that group. And so, we didn't take anything.
Some of the people were living together in a house, kind of cooperative houses, and they call them folk houses. And it was an idea of the early phrase, people creating our own culture.
being in the theater and taking art, the Foolkiller was just a natural draw for me. I'm like, oh, well, this sounds like fun. You know, we're going to put on plays.
I tell you, the first time that you see your writing on stage and the audience actually laughs the first time, it's like being addicted to heroin. You know, you're hooked for life. It hooked me for life.
Now the Foolkiller grew out of this idea that what we needed to do was to change the world.
We produced a lot of academics that are out there that came out of this rude working class thing. We're everywhere, which was the whole idea. The whole idea of the Foolkiller was to create people, train people in a new way of thinking about everything, and we did it.
It was amazing. We found out what we could do.